What I was saying is, we gonna come in with the just where does Nas place in your best MCs ever? Were you excited for the album? Was the anticipation, and then we'll get into the album, and then we'll talk about what's next for Nas. All right, bet. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tuning Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. Yo, I got my squad in effect with me. I got my brother Vern out of the ATL. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, good people? Glad to be here.
Everything is good. Porsche, what's good, baby?
How's it going?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Nick, what's going on?
What's going on, big bro?
All right. My man Bezo, what's good, fam?
Hey, what's good? Ain't nothing. I'm here.
All right, y'all already know what it is, man. When Bezo hit me up like, yo, I gotta be on the show, you know it's about to go down. He was like, yo, Kill, I need on this week, so let's get this thing going. Y'all know me, let's get right into it. We are talking about Nasty Nas's newest album, Nasir, produced by Kanye West, 7 tracks. We know how Nick feels about the 7 tracks. So we will get into that. But before we go there, let's start off with some basic things, because there's going to be some good, the bad, and the ugly about this album. Where do y'all have Nas fitting in on y'all best MC ever list? For me personally, he's my number 3 behind Jay and Big. Vern, where do you have him?
Okay, so I'm probably the only person on this panel that does not have like labels or ranks like that. I'll just say he has a seat at the table. He's in my top upper echelon, but as far as number 1 for, I don't have a number.
All right, no doubt. Porsche, what about you?
He's number 3 after Big and Pac.
All right, no doubt. Nick, what about you?
He's still he like right at 5 right now. I went back to his albums, and he kind of like falling back some.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Big?
I mean, I'm kind of like Vern, man. It's hard for me to put a number on it. Rakim is still number 1 for me, but I can't put him ahead of Kane and G-Rap. I could put him ahead of Big because, like I've always said, man, Big he didn't have enough of a menu for me to look through and be like, all right, this is better than what Nas did over this 20 years. Right. But he's top 7 easy.
All right,
top 5 maybe.
All right, no doubt. Now let's do this, because one of the things I've noticed with reviews and things like that is, like, how were you anticipating this album? Like, I had some friends hit me like, yo, Nas gonna drop another classic. This Nas, woo. For me, I wasn't there. I had 0 expectations for this album, like literally 0, because number 1, for me, the last Nas album as a whole body of work, I think so many people nowadays have gotten into the iTunes era of just good songs, but I'm still from that, putting in a whole album. That Nas to me hasn't had a dope album since Stillmatic, in my opinion, and I love the whole body of work. Stillmatic was 2001. That's 17 years ago. You're telling me Ye is doing all the beats. I ain't heard it produced by Kanye. You know, outside of this Daytona stuff, before all that stuff came, I hadn't heard of Kanye produced beat, just Dolo, in probably 10 years. So, you know, my expectations for this album was 0. It was like, yo, I'm going to just sit back and listen to whatever he gives me. What about you? Do you have high expectations, or where were you at for this album?
Yeah, I see that says 0. Because for me, hopefully this makes sense. Nas is one of the best, but he's not one of my favorites at all. I respect who he is and what he's done, but he's not one of my favorites. I can't wait for another Nas. So I had no expectations.
All right, no doubt. Porsche, what about you?
I also had 0 expectations, only because it had been so long since he had released something, and Kanye is just off his rocker. So I have no expectations from Kanye at all, like ever. And then so pair them together, it's just 0 all around. So yeah, I didn't have anything.
True. And then one more thing, I didn't have expectations because I wasn't feeling that joint he did with Khaled, where all he basically was doing was promoting Devil the whole time. You know what I mean? So I wasn't even feeling that joint over the Fuji joint. So that's another reason why even more I wasn't expecting anything. Nick, what about you?
I actually was anticipating it because I liked the last 2 projects he did, The Life is Good and The Distant Relatives with Damian Marley. I actually like those. I got a little worried because he said his album was done like 2 years ago. So when Ye just hopped out the window, like, yo, I'm doing 5 albums in 2 months, I was like, well, I don't know about that.
Right.
And we have to, Kanye didn't do all these beats dolo. We will see the truth once the credits come out.
Hey, Kill, I'm sorry. Plot change. They just traded your boy.
Who?
Bridges. Yep, to Miami for Zaire Smith.
Who the fuck is
No. Zaire Smith is a monster. Texas Tech. That boy, that boy's nice.
What position he play?
He's a shooting guard, but he could jump out the gym, got D out the ass. Trust me, you're gonna be happy with Zaire Smith.
All right. I know, dude. Mom saw that he worked for the Six. She worked.
Yeah, HR. Yeah, somebody gonna mess with get their paycheck.
I know she's right now. All right, but Beezer, what about you? What was your expectations, bro?
I mean, it was, to be honest, I didn't even know about it until like the day of. To be perfectly honest with you, on Instagram when I saw the whole release shit out in Queensbridge, out under the bridge.
Yeah. Right.
But even when I heard about it, it was still zero because to me, the last Nas project I really rocked with was The Godson. And then Kanye, politics aside, I just haven't liked his music since for years now. You know what I mean? I have even his other projects, like the good music shit, the joints on it that I liked, Kanye didn't do. So I had nothing. Once I heard they had it down, I'm like, damn, Nas and Kanye did a joint. Like, okay, whatever. You know, I'll listen to it because it's Nas and Kanye. But I had no expectations whatsoever. All
right, no doubt. Now tell me this. I saw something. Somebody sent me something on Twitter because my biggest question was, how did these two even connect? You know what I mean? Because it was like, boom, I remember Ye talking about, okay, we're going to have Good Fridays, Pusha, Kid Cudi, Tiana Taylor. And then he just was like, yeah, and I did 7 for Nas. You know what I mean? And then somebody sent me something saying like that Kanye had promised Obama or something that he was going to do. Nas's next album, and I mean, it's a like real live article like that. He told Obama he was going to do an album or whatever like that. Because I'm like, I don't even know how these two even run in the same circles or whatever. I ain't never seen or whatever.
I have a conspiracy theory behind that. I think to me, I can't help but wonder if it got something to do with Kanye and Jay's whole little beef. I don't want to call it a beef because I don't think it's really a beef. But whatever's going on between them, because that ain't no hip hop shit. That's some like me and you, Killer. We had a problem with each other on some life shit. You know what I mean? It seemed like more like that. It ain't like, yo, fuck killing his beats. It's like, yo, Kanye's on some next shit that used to be my man shit.
Right.
But my son was peeping this to me like he can't help but think that it got something to do with the Jay and Nas shit. And then Kanye, like, okay, I'm gonna go bless your mans. And then when you hear that, what's her name, Khalees, talking about all that shit she was saying that was going on with her and Nas, but some of the shit was about like, yo, seeing her talking to Jay-Z, like getting at her about talking to Jay, just saying what's up to him. Right. So I think there's still some shit between Jay and Nas, or some grown man shit. Like, again, I don't think it's even music shit.
Yep.
It's some
behind the
personal
scenes.
shit.
Yep.
And you know, hey, you ain't gonna like everybody you come in contact with, so I can respect that. They still know with each other.
That's actually a good point because niggas was, talking about, is there still beef? Because then Beyonce and Jay dropped their album the next day.
And that was my son's other point. The fact that they dropped it the same day.
Exactly.
Kanye and Nas. You know what I'm saying? Jay's former like protege and his man he had beef with, who he once was trying to get with. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and we all know how Jay rocks, man. You know, he's very calculated.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Calculated.
Well, he's grimy.
He got some bars from Kanye on that album too.
Yeah,
songs I did hear.
Yeah, I haven't heard it, but that's what I heard. The same thing. Like, yeah, he got some things to say to Kanye on there too.
I would call them bars, but he got some words.
Yeah, he got a couple of lines.
He got some words. I don't know bars anymore. Let's say, bro.
Nas need to get rid of that dial-up internet, and that album would have came out quicker, man.
That's what it is. The dial-up internet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Nas said, for me, I think my biggest beef with the album, I like the album. I don't really have too much. The biggest thing I have to say about it is I just don't feel like it's finished. You know what I mean? I feel like it's an unfinished product. I'm not like Nick with the 7 songs. I don't mind the 7 songs. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But when I'm looking at these songs, like Not for Radio, the first joint with Puff, which is actually crazy because I got a version without Puff that's boring as shit. So. Exactly. The crazy thing is Puff really adds excitement to a song, which is crazy to me because I'm like, I have one on my phone and one with iTunes, and when I listen to the one on my phone, I'm like, it's something missing. Like the oomph. I never thought I would be like, yo, Puff is the oomph that's missing. But he actually really is. But not for radio, he's got 2 verses, 2 16s. And I'm like, for people who may not understand how music is put together, most songs or hip hop songs are 3 verses, 16 bars apiece. So, you know, Not for Radio only has 2 verses. They're both 16. Cop Shot the Kid got a 24 and a 16. White Label got a 14. It's just 1 verse, not even a whole 16. The joint Bonjour got 3 8 verses. Everything got a 16, a 16, a 24. Adam and Eve got a 16, a 18, and a 20. And then Simple Things got an 18 and an 8. So it's only 2 songs on this whole album that actually have 3 verses that are almost like completed songs. So I'm like, it just feels like this joint is not done. Like the Simple Things, he just like, it's like, did the Pro 2 session like crash and y'all just didn't want to finish it? Like, so that's my biggest beef with the album. But I will get into Nick because I know you don't feel too great about this album. So I'm dying to hear, and you've been keeping your mouth shut all week. So I definitely got to hear what you and Bezo got to say. So Nick, what's your take on Nasir?
Well, if you're giving me 26 minutes of music, there's no room for error at all. Like you have 0 room for error. And I didn't like the song until Bonjour. That's the first song I liked. Like when on Twitter, Cop Shot the Kid and Adam and Eve, those were like the 2 main songs I kept seeing on the timeline. Mm-hmm. So when I get the Cop Shot the Kid, I'm like, this is what everybody going crazy over? Like, right. I mean, the Slick Rick sample is tight, but it gets annoying because it's like through the whole song. Yeah. Like if they would have dropped it out when Nas was rapping, brought it back for the hook, that would have been tight. Kanye should have just not done. He shouldn't have been on the song at all. Yeah. And honestly, to me, this is Nas's least inspired performance, MC wise, since Nostradamus. Like this is a lazy performance to me. You can tell this was rushed. Mm-hmm. Right. You can tell this was rushed. I would like to hear the album that he was actually working on prior to Kanye announcing this, because I know it's other songs that he's been working on since the last album.
All right, no doubt. Bezo, what you got?
Man, you talking about a dichotomy of opinions. I feel a complete 180 from what Nick just said. To sum it all up. I mean, all right, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there was an Instagram post by AZ the night when the release joint, and like I said, you know, for anybody who doesn't know, they did a listening joint underneath Queensbridge, and I believe it was at Roosevelt Island in New York, which literally is right underneath Queensbridge. That in and of itself to me is dope. Where Kanye and Nas is out there amongst the people listening to the album. 7 songs, 17, 70 songs. I couldn't care less. If it was 4 songs, I don't care. In this climate of music we in right now, give me songs that I can rock with for an album, however many songs that is. I feel the exact opposite in terms of having worked with different artists, having worked with artists where I just send them a beat as opposed to sitting in the studio and working with an artist and me and him vibing, and having worked with artists where we rehearsing and coming up with a song just off of rehearsal music. To me, and I spoke to a couple other producer cats that I know, and they said the same thing, that it feels like they didn't go in there with Kanye had his vision and like, all right, this is what I want to do, Nas, check this. And Nas jumped on board. Or Nas walked in the session like, yo, this is what I want to do, and Kanye jumped on board. It felt like to me, again, having worked with different cats in different situations, that they didn't just come together and jump in the studio. They came, Nas went out to Kanye's crib in Wyoming, and they sat down over a meal or two, maybe burned some trees, and just started talking. And talked about where they at in their lives and what they trying to do. Because the idea that this was some 2 years ago work of Nas doesn't hold water when you listen to the lyrics, when Nas is talking about shit that's happening right now, that literally happened like a couple of weeks ago before the album got released. So when I listen to it, songs like Everything and Cop Shot You, I'm like, I was getting upset with cats, and I'm sorry if I'm being a little long-winded with this, but it's like I've been really feeling this for a minute, man. But it's like I've been talking to a lot of different cats, man, from my generation, and I was getting upset with niggas like, yo, fam, all we've been doing for years is complaining about the state of shit and what niggas is giving us musically. And here it is, one of the most iconic MCs of all time in Nas, and fuck Kanye's politics. We're not going to even think about that. Just musically, nobody who is considers themselves a hip hop head could dare question Kanye's track record as a producer in hip hop and his influence and his innovation in hip hop. So you got two innovative cats that have meant a hell of a lot to a few different generations of hip hop coming together and just giving you 7 songs that are relevant. And it's like, my son is 25 and he's like, yo, I love this shit because he's like, Dad, I hear songs in it that I know you would love. I hear songs that I love. I hear songs that I know my little brother loves. And like that song, Everything and Cop Shot, yo, I've been complaining for so many years that these niggas nowadays talking about bullshit when there's so much going on in the world. And finally, not just any MC, but Nasir Jones and Kanye West did 2 songs talking about some shit. Yo, I let my daughter listen to Everything and listen to the hook, like listen to what he's saying in the hook. Yeah, fuck Kanye's politics. I can't even get on Nas with the whole domestic violence bullshit, but listen to what he's saying in Everything, that hook. My daughter listens to that, and that shit is inspiration. And Nas talking about Cop Shot You. Yo, yeah, you know, Jay did this shit about Khalid Brown and all this and that. But in terms of music, the music will resonate longer because that's what these niggas are. They MCs, they're recording their music, recording artists. Jay-Z putting some money into a project, a documentary. All right, that's dope. But nigga, you an MC. Nas is an MC. Kanye is a producer and an MC. These niggas took their craft and put some shit that, yo, is so goddamn relevant. And all I was seeing was people complaining, oh, I can't download it here. I can't get it from there. Oh, it's not long enough. Oh, it's... Yo, I'm like, yo, what do y'all niggas want? And y'all wonder why Jay Electronica ain't dropping no new shit. Fans don't appreciate nothing. Everybody wants everything exactly how they want it. Nobody just wanted to take the music.
Product ain't dropping nothing because fans don't appreciate.
But I'm saying, but I can't blame him. I can't blame any artist. It's like, man, why am I killing myself to drop music when no matter what you drop, all everybody wants to do is critique it and tear it down. That's all. I mean, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, yo, I was on Twitter,
I get
Instagram, everywhere I look, all 90% of the shit was just complaints. And the most of it wasn't even about the quality of the music and the messages and shit. And I'm like, yo, what do y'all want? Come on, man. At some point in time,
here's the thing.
Stop, pause, hit the reset button, and remember what brought them to hip hop. And listen to this Nas shit again. Fuck how many songs it is. Fuck if it was this, that, this Kanye's not. Man, just listen to what he's saying.
But here's the thing, B. At the end of the day, I feel you, but you talking about 2 songs.
Those 2 songs are relevant issues. But the rest of the album, Bonjour, I love that shit. I love Bonjour. I don't care if it's 6 bars. I don't care if it's 4.5 bars each verse. I don't give a damn. One of my favorite J. Cole songs is 1 verse. But that's my shit. I don't listen.
Well, here's the thing. I feel what you're saying about people complaining, but I want to get the Vernon portion, then we'll get back to that. But I think one of the things, and I'll say this, and I'm mad because a couple people weren't able to make it. The thing that I realized, that the people who I kept hearing from the most who didn't like this album were all MCs. So one thing that I try to do when I look at complaints and when I hear different things, I try to see if there are any dots to connect. So one of the things that I saw, that all the MCs I knew did not like this album. They said, nah, it sounded, Yao said he sounded like Cormega. He sounded lazy. He sounded unfocused. I had MCs saying, yo, you take the 7 most trash songs from Nostradamus is better than this shit. Now, of course, I don't agree with that. I'm like, I think we're going a little bit far, but
but that's my point. Is niggas want to tear it down and make their point so bad that they got to take the absolute worst and compare. Are you kidding me? Like, yo, for real? This nigga talking about cop just shot a nigga in Pittsburgh 2 days ago.
I got you.
Like, what do I want? No, like, what do niggas want anymore, man? I don't get it. That's the part I'm lost on, man. I don't get it. And I hear what you're saying, Kill, but at the same time, it's like, yo, how old is that nigga Nas? This ain't 19-year-old Nas just working out the projects of Queensbridge, man.
whole time.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Many fucking L's and shots of Hennessy and real life shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Gonna get to that, but again, my beef, like I said earlier, if you gonna make an album, make an album. Do that shit the right fucking way.
What's wrong with it though? But why is it not the right way? What's the right way then?
I only like 3
14
songs.
bars for a song. Fournette ain't coming to your crib recording 14 songs.
Why do we have to put parameters on how long this is, how long that is? It's like, yo, it's like that's what I said on Twitter. I'm like, because I heard these other cats was talking that shit. I said, look, yo, fam, if Halle Berry came knocking on your door on a Friday night, say, yo, you can have me tonight. Nigga, you gonna complain like, oh, I can have you for the whole weekend or the whole week? Never mind. Go ahead with all that shit. Hell no, nigga, you gonna take what you can get. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. It's like, niggas put too many parameters on shit. It's music. It ain't nothing but noise, fam. In its essence, it's nothing but noise in a mathematical sequence. So no matter what number you put it at, as long as you put that heart and soul into that shit.
Right. To me, well, here's the thing with me. There's not enough heart and soul into this shit.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There's not enough heart and soul in this shit to me. You talking about they sat down and chopped this up. About what? The nigga, this shit is not finished. Bet money. I bet you every fucking record I own, if we got Nas in here on some real shit, that nigga would be like, nah, bro, you right. This shit ain't finished. This shit is not finished.
I disagree.
There's no way, no nigga.
And it might, you know how Kanye was doing the last album.
Because why wouldn't he have then done more songs? You think they went into the studio and recorded 7 songs?
Kanye promised this shit out. The same way.
Wait. So you honestly think they went in there and recorded 7 songs and like, all right, it's a wrap?
Yeah, I
got to get back to the crib.
I do.
They went and recorded 7 songs.
Again for the third time. I do. This is the same nigga who took a picture of his album cover going to the album release party. This is the same nigga who told Pusha T the night before your album's dropping, I'm changing every fucking thing. That's Kanye's steez. So again, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, that you like it. I'm glad you like it. But I'm just saying that you got to give me more than a 13. Ain't no MC coming in here like, yo, I got 13 bars. Where the fuck is the rest?
Why? Why does it matter? That's what I don't understand. My favorite, like I said, my favorite Joe Cole. You know, one of my favorite Rakim songs is "Paid in Full." How many verses on the song "Paid in Full"?
One.
How many verses? Okay.
How many times?
Now listen to it. You complain. All right, it's not 3 or 4 verses.
How many times?
This is what I wanted. No, keep going.
How many times does that happen in hip hop?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
See, you looking at it. Okay, well, you know what? Then let's do this. Let's take every second and third verse off Illmatic and throw that shit away and just let it be one fucking verse.
If that one verse is that shit, then that's what it is.
I think the first verse from New York State of Mind is perfection.
That's what it is.
So
why we gotta put so many parameters on something that, like I said, in its essence is not. It's what Sadat X said it. It ain't really nothing but noise. It's just put in a mathematical sequence. So when you go in there again, it's like, you know.
When we finish working on our album somewhere in Philly, you good if Driz drop a 4-bar verse as long as you feeling it.
It is what it is. Okay, if it's an extended, it's like when Ray and them cats started doing these like hooks that were basically like short verses. You know, it's like when Pete and Primo and De La was doing the little interludes.
Not bad.
More, right? When you heard the interlude to the basement, you wanted more of that shit, right? But it is what it is. Sometimes you go to the restaurant and the appetizer is better than the meal.
You're right, B. Well, I can tell you.
So I'm not gonna hold nobody. I've had relationships and conversations with people that lasted 5 minutes. That was better than the conversation I had with somebody that lasted 2 hours.
Talking about music, I want more than one verse. That's just me. That's just
I'm saying. I'm not gonna put, especially in this climate. We living in right now. With the way the music is now, I'm not gonna put parameters on anybody.
Okay.
How long? How short? How many? Nigga, give me what I need to hear. Give me some real shit I need to hear. That's all. However long that takes.
But tell me this: what was Bonjour that was some real shit that niggas needed to hear right now?
Listen to that shit, man. Listen to what I was just saying.
No, we just talked about storytelling.
Wait. So why does time out? I didn't say every single song. I didn't say every. Oh, okay. I'm gonna answer you. Question. I didn't say every single song has some message relevant to some shit on the news.
Okay.
Not every song needs to. Hip hop is just it's an expression, it's an art form, it's an expression.
Oh, with hip hop.
Okay? It's just like when I used to argue about that Ghostface album. Why does because it's Ghostface have to do some extra hard gangster? Why can't the man do a song about relationships and shorties? Like, why is he pigeonholed into doing this? That's what happens to actors. I seen Tay Diggs was on Jesus and Miro the other night. And one of the things he talked about was like, yo, he went to his manager. He was like, the biggest mistake he made early in his career was that he kept changing managers, because everyone kept promising, oh, I can get you that role. When he was realizing, yo, all I'm getting are black roles. So he decided, you know what? I'm going to make a concerted effort. That role I was made, that was written for a white man, I want that role. Put me in the office for that role. Not because I don't want to do black movies, because I'm an artist, and this is my art form, this is my craft. I'm not going to be pigeonholed where you're going to make me just be this one type of actor. I'm going to show you I can do this, I can do that. So if there's no limit, if there's really no limit to what a man could do creatively, why am I going to have the nerve to tell him, you know what, dog? I feel you. I love your old shit. But my man, you ain't give me enough.
All right, cool.
Enough. Like, I need you to talk to me for 2 hours for 90 minutes instead of 26 and 30 seconds. I need more from you. Or if you can't give me more, I don't want anything. That to me makes no sense. I'm sorry. Especially in this climate of hip-hop.
You keep talking about this climate. We're talking about really one song, The Top Shot the Kids.
Nah, dog.
All right, baby.
I'm not just talking about messages like it got to be some shit on new. I'm talking about just, because not every song is like on Stillmatic.
Not Stillmatic. We talking about Nasir.
No, I'm giving you an example. Like Stillmatic. Stillmatic, he has some shit where he's going at Jay. He has some shit where he's talking about some real life shit. Nobody's saying Nas got to be the spokesman for the black community and talk about every issue that's going on in the black community. Bonjour is just good music. It's just some good music shit. Why can't he do that for 3.5 minutes? Why does he have to go to this route? He can go wherever he wants with it.
You know what? It's the same way we would hear them Pete interludes and be like, yo, why ain't this a whole fucking song? This shit is so dope. I know we had those conversations.
I never complained about it.
You never said that shit.
I never complained about that shit.
The rest of the world, the rest of society, we were the ones like, oh, God damn it, Pete, play that beat longer.
That shit to me was just like, like I said, sometimes the advertising.
I know.
Trust me.
The rest of us.
Ever go to Chili's, get the burrito shit.
I know.
It's better than any meal of the menu. But that's an appetizer. Sometimes the appetizer is better than the meal, man.
Right. You're right. All right.
12 might be better than 34 bars of music, man.
Well, like I said, there's no way no human being can tell me this nigga was focused on this album. Because this is the most I can tell you that. It's lackluster. But let's move forward. Vern, what you got on this, brother?
Man, I got to come behind this. I absolutely don't have that much passion one way or another about it. I liked Bonjour, Everything, Adam and Eve.
Those are my three.
I feel like here's an analogy. Don't kill me, B, but like you have a research project that you have like 3 months to do, and you crap off for like 2.5 months, and then that weekend before is due, it felt rushed. It felt rushed. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny. It felt like here goes some songs. It did, and not to put no expectations on it, B, but I mean, Nas is one of the best. I feel like this. Kanye with this 7-song project thing, it's like gimmicky kind of, and Nas had to fit himself into that, to fit what this concept thing that Kanye is doing. I mean, it has some good songs on there, some songs that I'll probably will never listen to again. Like I said, that's all I got on it, man.
And then another thing, like the whole Kanye thing, I don't like none of it really. The Pusha T album thrived because of Pusha's presence as an MC.
Yeah,
that's what made that album, not the beats.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm not Pusha's album. Me was like, it was alright. It's cool. I didn't see what the whole hubbub was about. Everybody, yo, this shit is all right. I mean, I think Pusha T's beat on the mic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I know that
I,
nigga
I
Mike
think
did.
I think I think that's the
Album
other
didn't
thing.
do nothing for me.
That's the other thing too.
you like Nasir more than Daytona?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay. What are you saying, Mark?
Music. I don't like this circus atmosphere. You know, here's a nigga. Okay, like Fonte. Oh, his album is out. It wasn't this big. See, I think one of the worst things you could do for me is this big build up. Oh, this album is coming to dropping. It's gonna be the we got reviews before the album even came out. It's on my Mount Rushmore. Blah blah blah. So that's already, and maybe this is a me problem. Setting the album up for failure.
Yes, and that's what I was about to say. Yes, but you gotta remember, you talking about two of the biggest names in the game. What would we think if Kanye and remember Beyonce just dropped that album out of the clear blue sky online, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, Beyonce got a new album out." What if you really think if Kanye and Nas did an album together, and there was nothing about it? You know what I'm saying? Like here it is. People would think it was a mixtape. People would think it was just nothing but a mixtape. They got to.
Is this one of the mixtape?
They gotta have. Come on, there's got to be some type of build up. Something.
But that's okay. So to that point, you built me up for this.
To let me down.
This ain't work.
I'm sorry, man. I think personally, and I'm gonna cut you off, but I felt like after talking to numerous people via online, whatever social media, face to face, over the phone, I'm like, yo. Y'all niggas done got too goddamn comfortable with this bullshit way of getting music. When this shit was back in the 80s, we had to go get this shit. We had to go to the
I think that is the problem. I think that is the problem.
On Friday nights and listen to Mr. Magic or Red Alert in order to hear our new hip hop. Well, we knew we was gonna get our new hip hop, and if Hank Love and DNA dropped some shit, you knew, okay, I got some shit. Not everybody's gonna hear because this shit is coming on at 4:00 in the morning. Niggas done got too comfortable. And that's what I meant when I said that as hip hop heads, and I'm speaking for my generation, I think too many cats, man, they need to pause, take a step back, put down the hip hop for about a week and take a vacation from hip hop, hit the reset button, and come back.
And then we'll appreciate the album. Like, oh, there's 14 verses in the album. Nah, man.
I want to piggyback off your point. Because I said the same thing on Twitter. To me, this album feels like what hip hop has become. Some ramen noodle, microwave type stuff, bro. Put mine in a crock pot and let all
the way that nobody can make me believe that these niggas took months to make this shit.
And the album probably still ain't.
And the wild part is I like it. And you still
watch when the CD come out, it'll be different than what we got right now. Just watch.
And here's another thing.
But if they only did 7 songs, how we ever hear that? How's it gonna be more songs if they only did 7 songs?
No, he's gonna keep tinkering with it. That's what he did the last album.
Come on, man.
Changing it.
Here's the other thing.
Yo, listen, man.
Hold tight. NB, that's cool. You love it? Hey, you like it? I love it. That's great. You like the bars? That's great.
One last point. Here's the other thing about it. Do y'all remember how music how big it was? How we would rock a tape all summer or all winter? Do you really think you're gonna be rocking this album by the fall? It doesn't. I mean, it's not big, man. I will.
I will. Because for no other reason, as long as these cops keep shooting niggas, as long as there's some real life shit going on, I can listen to this Nas shit. That Jay-Z Beyonce album just dropped. I'm like going crazy over this shit.
I ain't going crazy over none of that, man.
Migos wrote the shit, so it's like, come on, that's not hip hop. Now it's separation.
Porsche, let's get you in, babe. How do you feel about the album? Tone, what's good, baby?
What's good, man? How y'all?
You got some on your hat, Tone, man. Wipe that off.
Oh, no, that's good.
Yes.
My G.
What you got, Porsche?
I think I'm like a mix of all of these opinions. So I think there's definitely elements to each track that makes it really good. But I think that there's also elements that are up for critique. Like everything has 1 minute and 30 seconds of just singing. of absolutely nothing, but like you could take that off and it would do absolutely nothing to the song. So, you know, there's like certain things that I think made it up, like it set it up for sort of like getting critiqued this hard. But at the same time, like, I do think that there are tracks like Cops Shot the Kid that are really good. There are elements that needed to be said. I kind of agree that it is sort of, well, not sort of, it is very relevant. But at the same time, I think Nas didn't really, I mean, after a hiatus this long, I guess, was hoping that there would be a little bit more maturity there. But then there wasn't. Like, he's still rapping about putting 20K at the Bellagio, and like, I don't know, it just seemed like, have you aged and grown and learned from like all of the drama that you've been through? Like, I don't know, I feel like his previous albums were a little more mature than this one in certain ways. So that I didn't really love. And then, but yeah, I mean, other than, like, I do have to say this because I always get on Puffy for being Puffy, but on this first track, I was so surprised that I actually didn't mind what he was saying and that he was actually there. When I heard, I mean, I saw people say, "Oh, Puffy's on a track," before I actually heard it. And I was like, oh, geez, this is going to be brutal. And then when I heard it, I was like, oh, this isn't bad at all. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised. So I liked that aspect.
Kill need to send you the version without Puff, and then you'll thank Puff.
Yeah, it's really bad that Puff added a lot to a Nas song, but yeah.
Yeah, usually Puff gets in the way. And I'm always like, God, like, is there any way to Photoshop him out or like edit him out of everything? But in this, I was like, nah, that was good. Like, I'm kind of glad that he was there. I feel weird saying that. But yes, I liked it overall. I did like the album overall. I do have to say one thing. I speak French. And so when he said that one line in Bonjour with that French line, I almost wanted to like punch myself in the face because he said it so bad. And I was like, yikes, I wish you had like a French speaking friend to help you with this. But anyways, that's all.
And you know what? And here's the wild part to say it again. I actually like the album, but there are some negative things for me too. All that goddamn singing, man.
Yeah.
I did an Audacity and Chopped Hat. Who the fuck is Handsome Playboy? Or whoever the fuck is this nigga, the world famous, whoever the fuck is singing all over Bonjour?
That's the dude that be with, sound like the dude that's on all Kanye stuff.
Whatever.
We made. I thought it was that dude, the song on We Made You, Tony.
Yeah, Tony Williams.
Somebody.
Yeah,
Tony Williams.
They're singing on everything. I love it, but it's like 2 minutes of that. But you know, that's what it is. Tone, what you got?
Okay, I don't like the album. So if you know me, anybody know me, know Nas is my favorite MC. But damn, I waited for like 5-6 years after Life is Good. And this is an EP. First of all, I don't care about this new wave 7-song shit. 7 songs the EP. If it's not 10 plus songs, it's not a damn album. Okay. So the energy felt like a Kanye West album featuring Nas. All right. So that's my take on it. It didn't feel like an Escobar album. It was too much long, unnecessary singing. Some of the tracks, it just felt unfocused. Nas rapped out of pocket several times on the album. His flow was not dope at all, and I was very shocked by that. Now, of course, some subject matter is gonna hit because it's Nas. So, Cops Shot the Kids, other inspirational joints here and there. I get it, but there's a lot of over braggadocious rhymes on this album too. You know what I'm saying? There was a little too much for Nas to me. The mixing on the album was not good. For when Cops Shot the Kid, they need to remix that shit because they rushed it. You know what I'm saying? The loop, the Cops Shot the Kid is louder than Nas' verses if you go back and listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like Kanye was still playing with the album all the way up to they had that listening outside of Queensbridge. So the project is very rushed to me. Obviously, there's a couple of gems here and there, man, but the 7 songs for Nas Escobar, oh, it's definitely a letdown to me. I won't be listening to this shit 5 months from now, like continuously riding in my car like I did. It Was Written and Illmatic and Lost Tapes. It's not on that kind of level. I mean, this is low level Nas to me, like hip hop is dead and damn. This not even on God's Son level to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was very disappointed by the album, truthfully. You know, So it just didn't have that energy of a Nas album. It sounded like a Kanye West album.
And the wild part to me is that I don't know if I can't remember last time I've seen an album like this that people are so split down the middle. I know people who love it. Like, people call me crazy when I'm like, yo, I rock with it. I like it. You know, like I said, my only beef is that I just feel like the rhymes are just crazy short, and that ain't Nas's MO. It's not like this nigga's the hit you with 8 bars, that's the whole song type dude. So, but then I know so many people who hate it. And I guess I'm on the end of it who likes it, but then like I said, I've talked with people who I know are heads, people who Bezo are our age, who went to Morgan with us, niggas you know that are like, yo, this is trash. And I'm like, come on, y'all, trash. Like,
oh no, oh, that was my beef. Is that I've been hearing cats.
I'm like
generation talking that shit.
But I feel like we use trash and classic. It's two things.
Yeah. I would never call it trash. It's not trash.
Right. I wasn't saying you thought.
It's solid in the sense of, you know, for the average listener, I would say it's some solid joints on there. So it's not a whack album. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I personally don't like it because, again, my expectations high. When I think of an album, like I told you guys a few shows ago, an album is an experience to me. I put it in my car. I ride around with that joint around the city for like an hour and just kind of get the vibe and the energy on it. And when I tried that with this Nasir joint, who is my favorite MC, I just didn't feel it like that, man. So I mean, you know, it's okay to me. You know, so I'm not mad at him.
I wasn't saying you. I was just from talking to people, like, people are like, yo, like, I don't want to put nobody's name out there, but a lot of people who I know were like, yo, this is trash. And I'm like, I feel like everything now is either classic or trash.
I agree.
You can't.
That was kind of, not to cut you off here, but that was kind of my point. That it's like, I think as fans of the music, we've gotten so hypersensitive to wanting to hold on to some shit with dear life. Like, no, this is dope as shit. And if you critique it, you a hater, or you hate the shit is garbage to you, or it's like, oh, that shit is straight trash. Like, there's no in between. You can't just like, yo, nah, that shit is dope. I fuck with it. I don't like them 2 songs, but it's cool. The night the shit dropped, I was coming up the Jersey Turnpike. I didn't have my Easy Pass, so I had to go through the toll. And I pull up, and it's a young cat listening to the album. So I stopped and said, yo, fam, like, how old are you? He's like, 25. I said, what you think of the album? He said, yo, I love this shit, man. It's like, yo, he talking some shit that my generation could vibe with. And he said, he's like, and that's been the problem with like the older generation, because I guess he thought I was younger. He's like, the older generation and my generation, you know what I mean? It's like, people act like it's got to be one or the other. Like, if you doing this type of music, it's for the older generation. If you doing that type of music, it's for the younger generation. He's like, but yo, I like what Nas did. He's like, I got songs in here like I know older heads gonna like, but like, yo, this shit, some of these shit's just like for me and my generation. And that's what some of these singing and all that shit, that's where the music's going to, man. We can love, and that's why I brought up the Jay and Beyonce shit. We can try to separate the shit, but when you got Migos and Jay-Z on the album, Migos writing Beyonce's lyrics, it's no longer just R&B. It is hip hop with somebody singing, but it happens to be Beyonce. So I think as fans, we've gotten too caught up in putting parameters like it has to be this or if it's that. If it's not like this, then it's like, yo, at some point we gotta just put away all of that shit, all the expectations, all the parameters, all the limitations. It's gotta be, and just listen to the music. Just listen and listen to what's being said and how it meshes with the melodies. And is there a nice hook? Does the chord progression, is it on point? The transitions, are they there? And when I listen to it, I'm sorry. And I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm some savant and everybody else is taking a back seat to my opinion. But I'm like, from my experience in listening to music from the 70s to hip hop, from the very beginning to then actually making music, trying to be an MC at one point and then becoming a producer and working with artists and working with name artists, working with no-name artists, working with other producers, cats who play instruments, cats who can only hit a button on the keyboard. I'm sorry, when I listen to this Nas shit, I hear the totality of where we are in society and where the hip hop is. And this is what it is. And that's my point, that it's like, yo, as fans and lovers of hip hop, at some point, we got to chill with all this expectations and it's got to be, this got to be, and just take it for what it is. And
let
me say one thing. Here's the problem with that, B, is that there's always going to be expectations. Like, thinking expectations ain't going to exist is bullshit. When you go to the Garden and you pay all that money to see Steph Curry play, you expecting that nigga to drop 40. And if he drops 10 and he don't play,
but that's why I'm different. I don't do that, man. I don't do that. I don't do that shit, man.
You the sole person who goes to the Garden, don't expect shit.
I don't want to see Curry drop 40. No, I want that nigga to be held to 4 points, my nigga.
I'm sorry, not the Knicks.
Dropping 40 on my Knicks. Hell no.
Not against the Knicks. I'll tell you this. I paid a rack
game and shit, man.
I paid a rack of money when the Sixers were playing with Larry, when Iverson was with Larry Brown. Paid a lot of money for me and my girl to go. Got to the fucking game. Found out Iverson had a fight with Larry. He wasn't fucking playing. Expectations are always gonna be there. I expected to see that nigga fucking.
Well, that's different.
No, it's not different. I expect.
That's a different kind of expectations.
I
said that obviously went and he looked hung over and only put up top 4-15. That's one thing.
I expect Nas to come with doper shit than this.
I feel that, but that's not a good analogy.
No, I'm just saying. You feel that. You feel
that's that. Like Nas got an album and he's only on 3 songs. The rest of the album is somebody else's shit.
I expected Nas
expectations. Those expectations
Nas to come with doper shit.
Those expectations that you told my Iverson. That's like when I went to.
Okay, forget about it. I'm sorry.
Buckshot Shorty wasn't there. He wasn't there. The Helter Skelter wasn't there. I'm like they dance around the wave.
I expected Nas
to charge me $25 to see them dance perform. Like, nah.
Expected Nas to come with dope shit. That's the world.
Here's the thing.
And what you're saying is you want us to accept what we were given. It's like going to grandma's house and Auntie Janie made the fucking. I'm not accepting that shit.
Here's the thing.
My grandma to make.
You talking about grandma's house? When grandma gives you $5 for mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, you just doing that. Don't complain, nigga. It's your grandmother. Take them $5 to be happy.
My fault.
So this is how the episodes used to be.
Yo, I gotta pause for a second. I gotta move to another room. So I'll be right back.
What I wanted to say, because there's a rapper, I won't even bring his name.
Nick, I fucking hate you, man.
he came from the same angle of, as fans, we should just they're an artist, they can grow. Man, listen, I haven't bought a Kanye West album. 808 was the last one. I don't have to listen to anything that came after that. He can do whatever he wants to do. He has the freedom to grow and expand and I like it. And that doesn't make me less of a music lover or a less of a hip hop. Do what you do. It's Nas and Kanye, so you better bow down. No, 3 songs. I didn't like the other ones, and I probably won't listen to this album again. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
with his ranking his catalog.
We gotta get to that, Nick. We gonna get to my good brother Nick, boy. We gonna get to you. Tom, what were you gonna say, man?
Now, all I was gonna say is this, man. To me, music is very simple. Either the shit is dope or it's not.
That's it. That's it.
Man, so I don't care about all that, dog. I'm in my mid-40s too. I've been around this game a long time. Know a bunch of industry who've been hitting me up recently about this Nas album. I won't name some of these people because I don't do that. I don't care about all that.
You know what? But Tom, can I say something real quick for you? Yeah. I do see Ninth Wonder is salivating at getting the acapellas to this.
Oh, it's gonna be. I already heard some stuff, but anyway, so
that's gonna put us to sleep.
So a lot of people not feeling it in the industry, but nobody's gonna disrespect Nas. You know what I'm saying? But my point is this: to me, music is very simple. When I put the shit on, either I think it's dope or it's not dope. I don't care who produced it. I don't care who wrote it. I don't care who the artist is. You know what I'm saying? I know plenty of cats who not even famous make dope music. So when I heard the Nas album, I just wasn't impressed. Okay, some subject matter is okay. Nas always famous for subject matter. But at the end of the day, I don't like the album like that. I mean, I'm like, it's not what? It's a solid effort, I guess, from a great MC who I expected better. But again, when I listened to it the other night for like 3 times, his flow is not dope on the album like this. Some of the lyrics are good, but he's rapping out of pocket. The production on some tracks are overproduced. You know what I'm saying? The Cop Shop the Kid, the message is dope. If you go back and listen to this shit in your car, it's louder than his lyrics are. It's drowning his words out. These are facts. You know what I'm saying? And this is from people who I spoke to and other engineers who have listened to the album and came and hollered at me about it. I agree with them. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's a dope project like that. It's solid. You know what I'm saying? But that's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's simple. I put some shit on. It's dope or it's not dope.
Nah.
Well, shit don't matter.
Sure. All right. So Bezo, how many mics are you giving this album?
We got mics.
Out of what? Out of 5?
Yeah, out of 5.
Like 4. Easy
All right.
4.
All right, Tone, what you giving it?
3.5, I guess.
All right, Nick, what about you? 3. All right,
Mics.
Porsche, what you got?
3 mics.
All right, and Vern, what you got?
All right, so we said it's 7 songs, and I like 3 of them.
Right. Oh, you doing math? You doing Jay-Z math?
He doing.
You doing this 7 divided by 4, carry the 1. I give it 0.2.
I'll just say 3. I'll just give it 3.
All right. And again, I like the album. I give it 4. My only beef is that I wish that there was less singing and just more rhyming. But now what I want to talk about is this, because like I was saying earlier, I can't remember the last time I've seen an album that's kind of, I'm sure it has to be something, but Bezo, I know you remember this. When Jay dropped the Hard Knock Life album, and I always call that the split in hip hop, because that was like, up to that album, I feel like all of us hip hop heads all agreed on everything. And Bezo, I remember being at your crib with Shy and Roots, and we were on the side like, yo, these Swiss beats are whack, and Roots was like, nah, this shit is the future, this is the wave, and everything like that. And that was the first album that I really saw like divide hip hop down the middle. This is also something that I'm seeing dividing hip hop down the middle. I actually really, in 2 of the MCs I wanted to be on the show, and they couldn't make it because they're on the West Coast. But you know, like they really are like that. This album was trash. That Nas sounds horrible. That, you know, this is the worst effort they've ever seen from him, from an MC lyrically. You know what I mean? And they were getting on me like, yo, how do you like this shit? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know if it's because I'm not an MC, so I'm not looking at the technical standpoint. Do I think Nas is as sharp? Nah, but my expectations isn't for him to be as sharp as he was, you know, 25 years ago. You know what I mean? Which kind of brings me up to my next point. What is next for Nas? Vern, do you want another Nas album after this?
No. No, I'll just leave it at that. Short answer, no.
All right, cool. Because I'm going to come back after the end. I did some research on some things I want to talk to y'all about. Porsche, what about you?
No, I don't want another album from Nas. I do think that Nas has potential to do other things in music. And I think that he could probably be really, really great at those things. I mean, he's one of my favorite people to use as an example as a venture capitalist. Like, he's so good at business. So do I want another album from Nas? Absolutely not. But I don't think that's the end of Nas. I think that there's a lot inside of music that he could do that could make him stay relevant or still keep him in like whatever circles he wants to be in, just not in the releasing albums and touring aspect.
All right, Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with some of what she's saying, but I think he can still tour. Like, I don't want another album. He don't need to make another album. He got like a catalog. He just tore that shit. You don't have to make new music. You got
that's true.
A ton of music that fans love.
That's true.
You can tour forever. He need to be in executive mode. Just find young talent, mold them, and put them out. Kind of like what you're doing with Dave East.
Right.
And then hit a verse here or there. I mean, Frankie Beverly, you know, all white tours and stuff like that, and then drop a verse here or there and bring somebody else up. He's paid his dues. He's paid his dues. He's one of the greatest, and nobody can take that away. He's on the Mount Rushmore. Yeah. So he doesn't have to, and there's no knock on him. It's like a player who was an excellent wing player, could dunk on everybody, bro. Now he's backing people down in the post. I don't necessarily want to see him like that. I don't have to see him like that. Let me go out with you hitting that J against Byron Russell. I don't need to see you number 45 and watched.
Right.
All right. Exactly. All right. Tone, what about you?
I absolutely want to hear another Nas album. This can't be the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I want to put a limit on.
Like this. My number one this.
Not like this.
I know, I'm just saying, Nas is one of that dude was one of the golden childs coming into the hip hop game, man. This dude still got it. I just feel like he captured a little too much of Kanye's energy in this project, and Kanye drove the project. I would love to see him get back to some of his roots, like some of the tracks that was on Life Is Good, some of them joints he did with No ID and Salam and whoever else. You know what I'm saying? Nas can still rhyme. Nas concerts right now are better than they used to be back in the day when I used to see him live. He's a better MC on stage now because he understands his stage presence is better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Nas can still rap. I just don't like the project the way I felt like I would have liked. But yeah, absolutely. I hope it's not his last album.
All right, I'm gonna come to you in 1 second, but I want to add
one more thing. Like another thing I noticed about this is why I don't like reading reviews, because the reviews of this album, I don't think I've read one that didn't bring up the Khalees issue. It's like I get that y'all upset and y'all want him to speak on it. If that man don't want to speak on that shit, he don't got to speak on it. And I feel like that ain't the reason why I don't like the album. There's other reasons, but I feel like a lot of people don't like the album because of that.
Right.
And I've seen it
I've read a lot of reviews about that too.
And
didn't really see how. I don't know why people would think he would respond to it through the music.
Through the music, exactly.
So that's it. But for Vern, Porsche, and Nick, y'all don't want another Nas album.
He don't. I mean, I'm gonna listen.
He don't have to do it. I mean, that's
he don't have to put one.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, is it because you felt like this album wasn't as good as what you felt?
That's part of it. But also, I mean, Nas, as you stated, you said your last favorite album from him was when?
2001.
Stillmatic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so. Yeah, I mean, sometimes as a like Mike Tyson, and I ain't saying this is Nas, but everybody wanted Mike Tyson when he came out of prison to still be that same Mike Tyson that was knocking jokers out in 45 seconds. Bro, Father Time is undefeated, and I think even in hip hop is undefeated. That you still are one of the dopest lyricists, but it's the game moves on, and that doesn't take away from who you were, who you are. But he don't have to make one for me.
I don't think he has another full album left in him. And I think the only reason this album came out was because it was only 7 tracks. Like, I think it was pitched like, bro, like, you just have to do 7 tracks. Like, it's fine. Like, you can do it. And he was like, all right, cool. Let's make it under 30. And they were like, okay, cool.
I'm really interested in where this album is that he was working on before, because that was the whole kicker with the Khaled thing was.
Yeah, Nas album done. Exactly. There's another album out there that ain't this Kanye one.
I promise
you. I think that's why I'm so interested in.
Wait. Can I? I'm sorry. So y'all would rather hear a DJ Khaled?
No.
No.
I must be on the whole podcast.
Khaled didn't produce it, but everybody was saying that this new Nas album is done. Khaled don't got nothing to do with it. It was just based off of that he did that song on Khaled's album, talking about the album's done. So that was where that came from. Bezo, do you want another Nas album?
Absolutely. Why would I not? I don't understand why people trying to put him out the pasture. Go listen to the song with PMD and DMC. Them niggas don't need to make no more music. That's what it sounds like when old ass MCs are still trying to make music. Nas is still very much capable of making good quality music. I can't understand why it's like, nah, I don't want them on Nas. Like if Nas dropped another album next year, Nas. I'm not listening to that shit.
No, but if it ain't good, why just?
And this goes back to what I'm saying.
Hold tight, B, before you go back, because I wanted to look at something right here, because we always talk about, one of the things that Tip said during the Beats, Rhymes, and Life documentary that always stood out to me. So he was like, Sammy did it to the death, Mike did it to the death, I'm gonna do it to the death. And it made me think about, rappers not retiring. But here's the thing that I started thinking about. The same way, because I have friends who were like, you know what, Kill? There's some people who are still waiting for Nas to make his second Illmatic. You know what I mean? There are still people that are waiting for the DJ Premier Nas album. Hell, there's still people waiting for a Jay Electronica album. Like, there are people who are still waiting for these magical, mythical moments that are never gonna fucking really come. So my thing is this: for all the MCs who were coming at me like Nas is in the Sharp, I'm like, well, look, Illmatic dropped in '94, right? That's 24 years ago. Now, keeping in mind this, Bezo, you know this from making music. If it dropped in '94, it may have been finished in '93.
Exactly.
And he may have wrote the rhymes in '92. You know what I mean? So this dude has been around for fucking ever. And I know a lot of MCs will tell me, well, you know what, Kill, with athletes. Because I'm like, okay, let's look at somebody who was drafted in '94. Jason Kidd. That nigga been retired for fucking ever. That nigga been a coach on 2 teams now. You know, and people will say, well, Kill, that's the body is different than the mind. But I beg to fucking differ. You know what I mean? Like, you do enough drugs and drink enough liquor and you get old enough, your brain ain't gonna connect the same way and be as sharp. So here's some of the things that I did. I just picked 3 people, random. Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin. Stevie's first album that charted, 1962. Well, that was his first album, 1962, The Jazz and Soul Little Stevie. The first album that really charted and popped was I Was Made to Love Her, 1967. The last album that he recorded that really popped was Characters in 1987. That's 20 years. I looked at Gladys Knight. First album with the Pimps that popped, Letter Full of Tears, 1962. The last album that popped was Visions with Save the Overtime for Me, 20 years. Aretha Franklin, first charted, 1965. Last album that was popping, Who's Zooming Who, 1985. 20 years. It seems like there's a 20-year rep on these people. Now, I picked these people because these are some of the biggest stars. This ain't motherfucking Ashanti. Hold tight.
But now there's something you got to add to this whole equation.
Okay, go ahead, Bezo.
We're talking about black artists. Do that same research on the Rolling Stones, on these white rock and roll cats.
But they ain't making new stuff though, bro. They still touring. They not, bro. Ain't nobody buying no new Rolling Stones, bro.
Yeah, they are.
Are they even putting out new music?
Hold tight. All I'm saying is this.
A couple years ago, like 2 years ago, and they like 85 years old. Nick. That shit charted. Come on, man. That's my point. Is black music.
Is Rolling Stones putting out new music?
Why the black artists gotta always? You only got a certain amount of time, son.
I disagree, bro.
Just wait. Everybody, just wait. This is what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, Bezo, when's the last Rolling Stone album coming the fuck out? You don't know. You don't know.
I don't listen to them. I never listen to Rolling Stones.
This is what the fuck I'm talking about. People are always saying, "Oh, the Rolling Stones do." Nigga, you don't even know when the last shit came out.
So they had a song. That was just a couple years ago.
About a song from a couple of years ago. When did it come out?
Some that could chart. These niggas even came out in the 60s. It was like 2015.
They're touring.
Like 50 years.
They're touring. Let me ask you this, Bezo. Stevie Wonder dropping tomorrow. You copying that shit?
I listen to that shit, absolutely.
No.
I bought Michael Jackson's last album.
I beg of God.
When a nigga died, I bought Mike's last album.
I asked you, were you hyped for it? And the answer is fucking no, Bezo. You're not.
I wasn't hyped for this Nas shit.
Let me say something.
I told you I had zero expectations for the Nas shit. But that's my point. I'm not putting labels on shit before it even hits my earwaves, man. I'm not.
Okay.
It's gotta be this or
family.
That I had was that.
Look, I got Rolling Stones dropped the album in 2005 that went platinum.
Okay.
And when was their first album? When was their first album that charted?
It had to be like in the
60s. But the point is,
I don't white artists can't chart because of black artists.
Go ahead.
That just proves my point.
I'm just wondering if I could just raise my hand. Here's the problem. Let me explain something to you, and I'm glad I wrote this down. Stevie Wonder, Nick, what year did you say?
For Rolling Stones?
Yeah, Rolling Stones.
2005.
Was that new material, or was that like?
No, hold tight.
That was a new album.
I got something for this. Stevie Wonder's last album, A Time to Love, was 2005. Just a quick glance. Anybody heard that shit? No, y'all don't even need to fucking answer. But guess what? It won a Grammy. So just because something wins a Grammy or just because something went platinum doesn't mean it was good music.
But it means
you
the
just
fans
talked about the other cats when they charted.
Hey, Kill, let me
You brought up Gaslight and the Pips and the other artists because of when they charted. But it just validates my point that
what's your point
about this black.
He's saying the white fans
yes.
support the artists.
Yes.
Here's the problem. Here's the thing. Until somebody, here's the problem with people that gets me. We would need somebody white on who listens to the Rolling Stones to talk about this. Because here's the problem. Just because something went platinum doesn't mean that they enjoyed it. And if it went platinum, why has it been, 12 years since they put it out? I know. The moral of what I'm saying, I'm going to come to you, Tone, is that it looks like the span of making good music. There's a fucking different definition of good music and shit that goes platinum. Just because it goes
Kill. You don't think there's any validity? Hold up, Kill, but you don't think there's any validity to the fact that black music and black artists are treated differently than white artists by both the fans and the entertainment industry? Seriously? Yes or no? Do you think there's a difference between the way black artists are treated by both their fans and the industry compared to how white artists are treated by their fans in the industry? Yes. And that is my point.
But here's the point. To make that point, can you fucking listen to the people you talking about? You're telling me about the Rolling Stones and gonna sit here and tell me I don't listen to the Rolling Stones.
I had albums from them, but I'm not a fan of their music.
Yo, motherfuckers eat at Burger King. You ever ate at Burger King? Fuck no.
That in no way illegitimizes or legitimizes my argument versus yours. Again, my point is the fact that the white artists have a long shelf life because they are allowed to both by their fans and by the entertainment industry. That's my point.
Is it also?
Let me get this. Let me get the tone. Let me ask you this, Bezo. So since we don't support, so when the next Stevie Wonder album comes out, are you buying the shit? Because then you'd be part of the problem if you said no.
No, I wouldn't be part of the problem, Kill. Like I said, hey, I bought Michael Jackson's last album before the nigga died.
So when Stevie Wonder comes out, are you buying?
I say that. I bought Michael Jackson's album, and just the other day, I was listening to 3 cuts off of the last Michael Jackson album.
But why don't you let
when the new artist has been out since the 60s, are you buying it? Are you buying it? Yes.
I bought Michael Jackson's album.
I didn't ask about Michael Jackson. I asked about Stevie Wonder.
What does it matter? It's black. Michael Jackson is not bigger than Stevie Wonder. They're not two iconic black artists.
EPMD is iconic, but you just said yourself the EPMD and Run sound old, but they had all these.
No, because the shit just sounds terrible. Go listen to the song.
Bro,
so you think white people, you think the Rolling Stones sound as good as they fucking did in 19?
No, they don't. Bro, Chicago and other acts like that tour all over the time. They ain't putting out new. They not putting out new stuff, bro.
Those Rolling Stones fans that bought that album and made it go platinum in 2005. I guarantee you, 90% of them were fans in 1960, whatever the fuck, when they first dropped their shit, and they rocked with them and supported their favorite group.
Bro, great point. They don't sound as good. That's fucking common sense because they fucking did all them drugs. You ain't buying a new PMD because it sound like shit. So basically what you're saying is black folk need to buy everybody's shit that comes out.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Kill. I didn't say that. That's what I meant. That's what I would have said. What I said, again, my point is one thing. Please don't add on to it. It's just one thing. Black artists are not supported by both their fans and the entertainment industry the same as white artists are supported by their fans and the entertainment industry. Period. Point blank. That is my sole and single solitary point.
I understand what your statement is.
Whatever artist you want to put in the black category,
I can tell you this.
Artist you want to put in the white category. That is my sole point.
The way an artist is going to define support is if you buy my album. So I'll take your quote and add you one. So since
that's not the only way to support.
That's not it.
That's the only way to support.
Okay.
Buy the entire album.
Album.
While you going to the shows, while you buying, you downloading a few singles off the song. That's supporting also.
That's buying the shit, mother nigga. That's buying the shit. Like I don't understand. This is not fucking algebra.
Like I told you, I bought Michael Jackson's last album. How many of y'all bought Michael Jackson's last album?
I didn't because I didn't like it. I got Michael Jackson on my wall right now. I'm from Gary, Indiana.
Here's the thing, everybody.
Michael's working with Darkchild.
I bought that shit. Album, and that's that.
I bought that shit because I said when I bought it, I listened to. I said, you know what? It's Michael Jackson. This nigga has shown and proven to me he's an incredible artist. The nigga can sing. I didn't buy Whitney Houston's last shit because she can't sing from all the cracking shit she was doing.
Well, here's the thing, Bezo.
But I'm not supporting it because she's doing this shit, man. Come on, son. I listened to it and the shit was trash. If it was good, I couldn't care less if she's 55, 45, 35. Just make good shit. I'm gonna rock with it.
What were you gonna say, good brother?
All right, to Brian's point, I will say one thing though. It does seem like at times that black fans, we put an expiration date on our art. I do say that now. To Brian's point, let me say this. So the Rolling Stones, for example, we know they've been out for like 40, 45, 50 years. They had an album that came out in 2016 that was critically acclaimed, got 4.5 stars on All Music. They got 5 stars on Rolling Stones. They end up in less than a year selling 2 million albums global, and they've been touring off that new album and touring off shit they did in 1971. So to that point, sometimes we do say, I'm not fucking with this group or that group because they sound dated. They sound time is
cool no more.
Essentially, every artist is gonna lose some steam. But I do believe that sometimes we look at some of our artists and put an expiration date on their craft, and we shouldn't do that.
Now, can I ask a question?
That's my point.
Big Daddy Kane.
Thank you.
I would like to make a point, Tone. They said that the album went double platinum, correct?
Double platinum, yeah.
It went double platinum. Now, I just want to make sure I get this because I'm a little remedial at times. To go double platinum, people have to buy it, correct, Tone?
They had to buy it.
Okay, so the problem is that, Bezo, to your point, which you keep saying to your point, is that they went double platinum. So that means someone had to, what? Buy the album. Then, I'm sorry, and then Tone, you said they're going on tour. To support an artist on tour, Tone, what do you have to do? You have to buy a ticket. So essentially,
so Brian point, they get support still from their fans. They're buying their music and they're watching.
The same way they got it when they first came out.
So essentially, to support an artist, like I said, fucking 20 minutes ago, you gotta buy the album. One, you got to buy the ticket to tour. Correct? So. Yep. You're saying there's a difference, then the difference would be that black people are not buying the album and not buying tickets to the tour. Am I about right on that?
They're not doing it for whatever reason. Again, we're getting expiration dates on these artists.
Yes. Can I just say something? Can I just? I just want to know one thing.
They wag. They not cool no more. They ain't hot no more.
I think you're making assumptions.
You buy to the PMD show next week at SOB?
If PMD was if PMD listen, I went to see Boot Camp Clip. They hadn't had an album out in God knows how long.
No,
I went to see Boot Camp Clip, but when I got there, Buckshot Shorty ain't there. Helter Skelter ain't there. Sean Price ain't there. Like, nigga, this ain't Black Moon. This ain't fucking Boot Camp Clip then. So that's my expectation. I'm going to see Boot Camp Clip. I'm not going there. I better hear the dopest songs. If it's not the dopest songs,
I just want to know one thing, since I guess Bezo might know a lot about fan bases. I just want to know, is the fan base number in hip hop equivalent to that of rock? Because I'm going to say this, hip hop, although it is one of the, if not the most influential genre in the world, it's still a niche genre, and rock and roll, or whatever Rolling Stone falls into, isn't. It isn't. And that's why they are always like, if you can prove to me,
I mean, it's more, it's from America, it's mostly white.
From a numbers point.
If Bezo can prove to me that the sample size, this is my psych background kicking in, I need to have the equivalent playing field. You can't tell me rock and roll or Rolling Stones' fan base is 1 billion, but hip hop's fan base is 35 million. That's not, you can't.
You're looking at it the wrong way.
You have no basis.
It has nothing to do with how many. It's like, oh, they have 1 billion, but they only have the numbers are relative.
You're talking about
it's like in the NBA. It's like in the NBA, Kill, when you hear guys' statistics per 36 minutes. This nigga might play 24 minutes a game.
When you're talking about
they
charting,
attribute his number per
Diesel,
36 minutes.
We're not talking about the NBA. When you're talking about charting and going
It's
double
the same
platinum,
shit, though.
no, it's not. It's not because
It is.
No, it's not.
Well, you know what? Here we go.
No, it's not.
Because
No, it's
when
not.
you're talking about charting and going double platinum, numbers only matter. Only numbers matter at that point. If you hadn't talked about going double platinum and charting, then yes, you would have a valid point. But as soon as you bring in a numbers factor, you got to square the playing field. Otherwise, it's invalid.
Just like,
Square
okay, so
that's all I'm asking. Square
a
the
great
playing
point.
field.
And hold tight, Vern, because that's a good point. Because
It is.
there's more fucking white people than black people.
that's the point.
In America, not
Bro,
across the
in
goddamn
hip
globe.
hop.
Well,
You know how big, you know where Wu-Tang's one of their biggest supports come from?
The RIAA, the double
Is there not billions of people in Asia?
RIAA is based off of America. Then they'll give you the worldwide sales. So when he quoted a double platinum, that's talking about America. They'll give you the worldwide sales.
No, if you heard what he said,
No,
he said worldwide.
I'm wrong. You're right.
He
You're
said
right.
worldwide.
You're right. It's all worldwide. I'm wrong. What are you gonna say, Vern?
I was saying in hip hop, think about numbers wise. In the 90s, when everything was going double and triple platinum, who if you could go back and do the research on it, black people supported to a certain number. The white audiences and stuff is what took those albums 2, 3, 4 million. 2, 3, 4 million. It wasn't us. We still rock with our group. Bro, I went to go see Daylight when they came, when Big Daddy came and all them came to Atlanta several years ago. So I still support. I don't put no expiration date. I support the people that I love, but I'm not just gonna drop money just because of whoever you are. If I don't like it or it ain't good. Nas is one of the greatest. I've stated that. He's on the Mount Rushmore. This album is okay. I ain't just because you're black. Everybody that I love, I'm gonna support.
No, I don't buy into that idea either. Like, I'm not going to go see a Spike Lee movie just because it's a brother. If it's a good movie, I'll go see it. Yeah. I'm not going to just go, oh, it's a Spike Lee. But again, my whole point, and please, you kind of just throw it out like it doesn't mean anything. But I use the basketball analogy. It is extremely relevant because it's about, there's always going to be, you can't just say, well, 1 million fans over here compared to 1 million fans over there. There's a different amount for each fan. It's
I said 1 million fans over there to 50 million fans over there.
Had a different fan base than, say, a Biggie did during his time. Rakim, his fan base came from a different place than, say, Biggie or Jay-Z or Nas's fan base came from, because the music grew. It got bigger. But if you're going to tell me that I can't compare the way the fans of Rakim treat Rakim's music compared to the way the fans of Nas treat Nas' music, simply because Rakim came out at a time when niggas was going gold, and then Nas came out at a time when niggas was going platinum. Like, oh, you cannot compare the two because of the numbers. That's ridiculous.
You can't. That's
all relative.
You have to have
relative.
Porsche, here we go. We talking two different languages right now.
Yeah, we are. I was just gonna say that, but it's cool.
Give them all your information, good brother, where they can get at you, man. If you need your album, bro, get with this nigga right here. Bezo, give him everything, good brother.
I don't need to know shit, goddamn it. Leave me the hell alone. You don't know me by now. Don't worry about it, man. That's on the other side.
So give him everything, good brother.
Hey, man, IntoTheDome.com. Also, B-Roll Network on YouTube. That Time in Hip Hop. Into the Dome Twitter, man. That's it, you know.
Yeah, give him everything, man.
Kill will have it linked up on Twitter and IG. It'll be on the post next week.
When y'all see me in the tweet and the retweet, that's me, goddamn.
Porsche, give him everything.
Cherchez La Porsche on Twitter and Instagram.
Give him everything, good brother.
VE Chandler 10 and V Chandler at 10 on Twitter.
Oh man!
Sorry, be and Kill 889 Twitter.
Ooh, I gotta go do some yoga.
I got that old thing back. Well, it's like one of my first shows watching.
I told